जय हिंद एवरीवन। हर एक यंग डिफेंस एस्पिरेंट का एक सपना होता है टू जॉइन नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी, दैट इज एनडीए। और आज हमारे साथ में मिस्टर मानसून, राइट, हु हैज जस्ट बीन रिकमेंडेड फॉर एनडीए, राइट। सो आज हम मानसून के साथ बात करेंगे कि वो जर्नी जो है एनडीए एग्जाम का रिटर्न की प्रिपरेशन है, जो एसएसबी इंटरव्यू है, वो सारी जर्नी कैसे रही, क्या क्या चैलेंजेस फेस करे हैं, एंड हाउ ही फील्स टू बी देयर। Yes, welcome Monsoon.
Yes sir, thank you sir.
First of all, congratulations for being recommended for NDA.
Thank you sir.
Right. So Monsoon, just want to know that when you started your preparation, when you thought of कि आपको NDA clear करना है?
The first thought of NDA came to my mind as soon as I got to know about NDA. There was a movie Major which showcased about the life of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan. From there I got to know about NDA. Otherwise my goal was very clear to join army. But for NDA, I got to know about in 8th class and I started preparation in 12th class only.
Right, great. So, काफ़ी सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, we know कि एग्जामिनेशन जो है वो जब 12th में होते हैं, then in the month of September examinations conducted,
yes,
right? So, you started your preparation in the 12th itself, or
yes,
from 11th onward you have started your preparation?
I started my preparation from 12th only, around 4 months back from September.
4 months back, right?
Yes, sir, in May or June.
Right. So, जो एनडीए का रिटन एग्जामिनेशन है, व्हाट वाज योर स्कोर?
आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग अराउंड 495 मार्क्स, बट इट्स गुड टू बी प्लस और माइनस 5% because the answer key was not official, it was only from internet.
Right. So out of 900 marks he has scored 495 marks, right? That's a huge score in itself, right? And we expect you to be in the top 25 at least.
Yes right? sir, maybe.
Okay, fine. So Monsoon, जब हम बात करते हैं एनडीए एग्जामिनेशन की, ठीक है, इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट रिटन एग्जामिनेशन, इट इज मोर अबाउट एसएसबी इंटरव्यू। आपने फील भी किया होगा वहां पर, राइट? सो थोड़ा सा अगर हम बात करें जो एसएसबी इंटरव्यू रहा, राइट, हाउ मेनी कैंडिडेट्स वर कॉल्ड इन, हाउ मेनी रिपोर्टेड एट एसएसबी सेंटर, और उसमें से कितने स्क्रीन हुए, और फाइनली हाउ मेनी रिकमेंडेड?
Yes sir, so there was reporting of 103 candidates and out of which 40 were screened in only, and recommended were only 7 including me.
And how many were medically fit, completely fit?
Only I was completely medically fit out of 6, and the one person was not with us in command hospital. He went for medical in IMED. His medical is currently on the way.
Okay, great, right. So it's very important when you are actually targeting ND examination, it's very important कि beside preparing for written examination, you also work on your SSB interview. And SSB interview that we have seen, it is more about your holistic experience. Your overall personality is being tested in 5 days SSB interview, right? तो हम Monsoon से जानते हैं कि what was his experience in SSB interview और how he cracked it, right? आप देख सकते हैं out of 104 students जो report किए, उसमें से only 7 were recommended, right? He was one of them. So how was the experience?
My experience was overall fine. बाकी जो भी यहाँ assessors ने बताया मैं तो वही follow किया. I had to work upon my English language communication skills and also the general awareness. Prabhup ma'am and Rajat sir also promoted this, and Aditi ma'am also promoted the geopolitical topics. Military knowledge by Rajat sir also helpful, and the notes by Prabhup ma'am especially we were sent them regularly. So they helped me in the general knowledge, and in the other tasks like Psych, G2 and interviewing officer tasks. So the 3 assessors here, Lieutenant Colonel Ravi Sharma sir, Brigadier KD sir and Wing Commander Chahal sir, all of them guided me very well, and I would like to credit them for whatever I have done. It was from their guidance only. Their tips, tricks, guidance, all of them were the way which I would like to express were the reason for my success.
Right. तो जो आपका इंटरव्यू रहता है, हाउ लॉन्ग इट वेंट, मतलब जो पर्सनल इंटरव्यू की बात कर रहा हूँ?
इट वाज अराउंड 35 to 40 minutes only.
35 to 40 minutes.
Yes sir.
And what are the areas they talked about?
Mostly, first of all, it was related to my PIQ form only. The first question was they asked me was only about my name in the interview and in the conference also, that why I have such a unique name. After that, the story revolved around my PIQ.
What was your answer? Your name is Monsoon, right?
Yes sir.
So when I heard your name that you are Monsoon, right, even I was surprised that it's a unique, different name, right?
Yes sir.
So what was your take on that?
I answered that my father wanted to give me a unique name first of all. Moreover, I was born in month of July. It was the rainy season, so my father named me Monsoon only.
Great.
Yes
Yes,
sir.
please carry.
So the story revolved around my PIQ form about my hobbies and extracurricular activities I mentioned in my PIQ form. For example, I mentioned about mythology. So they keep asking me about Bhagavad Gita, quotes, chapters, and some instances of Mahabharat, like who was son of Bhim, how did he die, who was the one who killed Ghatotkacha, etc. After that they...
So you have mentioned all those things in your PIQ form.
Yes, sir.
Right? So one thing that we can understand, otherwise normally an individual is not expected to talk about Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata or Ramayana, right? But ultimately he has mentioned,
yes,
so
sir.
in a way he has invited questions from that area, right? So unless you mention, you will not be questioned in those areas. But ultimately if you are mentioning something specific in PIQ form, then be prepared for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So after that, the general knowledge part was a bit troubling for me. Although I gave a brief introduction about the topics they asked, but somehow I lagged in some areas. Thereafter, they asked me some questions related to class 11 physics about thermodynamics and Archimedes principle. I gave some brief answers, but the interviewing officer himself explained in detail to me, so that I remember my whole life. And some question I was not able to answer, I straight away mentioned that I don't know the answer, sir. I will tell you on the conference day, but they didn't ask me on the conference day itself.
Right. Okay. So one thing we can understand, it's not important that you are able to answer all the questions correctly. It's important that you know what is being asked and what you know and what you don't know. If you know, you answer it precisely. And if you are not knowing the answer of the question, then don't try to guess. You can straightway accept it. Sorry, sir, I don't know the answer, right? And probably that what he did and he has been recommended, right? So it's very important because they are not expecting a very high level of information or awareness from a guy who is just 17 years old.
Yes, sir.
Right? So not expected much, but the thing is that you must be honest to yourself and you must not try to overdo. You have to be what you are, and that's what Monsoon did. When he went for SSB interview, so he was pretty confident कि sir हो जाएगा, right? And he made it, right? When your message came, sir हो गया. So it was a really, I can remember that moment when you left, sir हो जाएगा, हो जाना है, right?
Yes, sir.
So that confidence is a big thing, right? अंदर से आपको belief आ रहा है कि you can make it, right? So and another thing like general awareness है, ठीक है? Obviously बात है कि not expected much, yes, but you need to understand about yourself. जो कि आपके surrounding में happenings हो रही है, we must have understanding about that, right? So Monsoon, otherwise you belong to Himachal Pradesh,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Which place?
Bilaspur district and Tehsil Gumarvi.
Okay,
yes,
right. So, but you have studied here in Chandigarh.
Yes, sir. I've been living in Zirakpur for quite long period. And my studies, first of all, I went to Bluebird High School in Sector 16, Panchkula, till my 10th. After that, I am currently pursuing my 12th from the Government Model Senior Secondary School in Sector 16, Chandigarh.
Right. And what does your father and mother do?
My mother is a private school teacher, preschool teacher, and my father is doing a private job currently.
Right. So, how is the feeling of your parents about your success?
They were overjoyed. First of all, I was on the phone call itself. They got startled about my experience and the results. And then they were very happy according to what I have perceived from their way of talking, and the neighbors, all of them told that we are very happy.
So, and you yourself, your internal feeling?
I was also very happy initially, but somehow there were many candidates who were not able to make it. My roommate, he was a very, I think, deserving candidate, but I don't know what they have done in psych test or interview. But from what I have observed in them in GTO task, they were very good candidates, and they also deserve to be with me. So I felt a little bad for them. So, but I enjoyed my time after that in the medicals and the medical lines. Yes, sir.
Okay. See, we can understand that once if we go to conference, it's very close call, right? And sometimes even you felt that these students must have been recommended, but somehow they were not, right?
Yes, sir.
So, guys, that if you are preparing for India examination, you are going for SSB interview, it's very important that you need to be confident and you start working on yourself, right? So, time and again, we have been telling you, right, participate more and more into sports and extracurricular activities, right? So, Monsoon, जब हम sports and extracurricular activities के बारे में बात करते हैं, ठीक है? So, what you have done and how was the experience? There must be some question regarding this.
Yes, sir.
What was your participation in sports and extracurricular activities?
So extracurricular activities, I participated in innumerable of number of extracurricular activities, mostly the quizzes, interstate, inter-school quizzes. I am once reached state level of road safety quiz and some science related quiz especially. I am very active in that. My teachers used to call me up that there's a science quiz you should go on. But for sports, I have not participated in many sports activities. I tried playing basketball, but I couldn't make into the school team because of my less height. But I used to play it casually only. After that, I also play chess, and I'm regular in playing chess. I mentioned it as my hobby in PIQ form also.
Right. So, any question about chess?
No, sir. They didn't ask me anything about chess. But they did ask why you are playing basketball, but your height is so small. So how can you prove that? I mentioned that this height was the reason I couldn't go further. Otherwise, I used to play good basketball. I also played basketball there at SSB grounds with my friends also. But I got injured there and I went away.
Okay, great, very nice. So ultimately, one more thing that I want to know, right? You have participated in numerous activities, extracurricular activities, right? What do you think that how these participations, right, in extracurricular activities helped you in SSB interview?
I think it gave an impression that a person is not an introvert or a shy kind of person who is always studying in the room. He is open to new opportunities, and this kind of gives a thrilling or adventurous experience, experiencing new quizzes competition in which you meet new people, you compete with different people, you form a team with your teammates and go on to compete. So I think it has a positive effect on your PIQ form as well as the overall interview process, as you are the one who have already competed with other person, and SSB you are open to other opportunities also, and you are open with your teammates also, especially in GTO tasks which require teamwork and cooperation. So I think team games especially, not the individual ones, are also promoting confidence and initiative skills, but the team quiz competitions and other activities promote social adaptability and other important factors which are assessed in SSB interview.
Right, very nice. So guys, the extracurricular activities have a very important role to play in our upbringing, right, as a confident individual, and one of the most important quality that is being observed over there, that is being a confident leader, right? So in case you are looking for NDA or SSB interview at school level or the college level, wherever you are right now, right, this is the best platform, right? Probably you must have participated mostly up to 10th.
Yes, sir.
Right? After when you get into 11th and 12th, your focus shifts, right? You have to take up the heavy subjects, non-medical stream. अगर आप choose करते हैं तो physics, chemistry, math, they demand a lot of time, right? Attention. So ultimately, अगर आप 10th तक जितना ज़्यादा participate करेंगे, that will be more valuable. 11th, 12th में कोशिश करो, try करो, जितना आपको opportunity मिलता है, go for that, right? But still, these things are very important when you go for SSB interview, right? Further moving, right, जब हम बात कर रहे हैं SSB इंटरव्यू की, तो GTO का जो सेक्शन रहता है, राइट?
Yes, sir.
बहुत सारे कैंडिडेट्स हैं, हम देखते हैं कि वो साइक एक साइलेंट पोर्शन है कि साइक में गए, आपने स्टोरीज लिखी हैं, SRT लिखी, आपने वैट लिखा, एंड यू फील कंफर्टेबल कि सर ऐसे ऐसे होना है, ठीक है, बिकॉज दैट इज मोस्टली इंडिविजुअल एक्ट, राइट?
Yes, sir.
बट जब हम GTO की बात करते हैं, वहाँ पर ग्रुप डिस्कशन है, ग्रुप प्लानिंग एक्सरसाइज है, लेक्चरेट स्पीच देना सबके सामने, राइट? एंड देन ग्राउंड के जो ग्रुप टास्क रहते हैं आपके, सो ऑल आर टीम एक्टिविटीज, right? So what was the topic of group discussion?
My first topic in group discussion was where should India focus more on, agriculture, defense, on infrastructure, and the second topic was what was the cause of most of the time social unrest in India, religious issues and places of worship, or it is reservation and casteism.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So अगर हम फर्स्ट टॉपिक की बात करें, राइट, how much was your participation? Did you started with or somebody else started?
I tried starting but it was mostly like a fixed fish market situation. So I have to put my points further, but I also had a sore throat, so I had some trouble putting my points. But I made sure that the points I am giving about infrastructure are are audible to my GTO assessor also and all my teammates also. So this gave me a plus point that my points are at least heard by other team members. It gives a positive impression, and in second GD was also the same. Yes, sir.
Right. So you tried to take the initiative, but
yes, sir,
somehow it was not easy to make it.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
Okay. And what was the topic for the lecturate?
lecturate, there were 4 topics, out of which I spoke on examination system in India. The other topics were fair trade and the rise and fall of Taliban, and the 4th topic I cannot recall, but I spoke on examination system in India around 3 minutes.
Around 3 months,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Very nice, right? And for group tasks or half group tasks, SGTs or command tasks, you were fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. And how many individual tasks you were able to complete?
I did only 6 individual tasks, but mostly I fall down around 8 to 9 times in individual obstacle.
Okay.
One time for tiger leap, screen jump 2 times,
And then you
balancing.
repeated?
Yes, sir. I repeated.
Okay. Good.
sir.
Good. Very nice. So SSB interview is a holistic test of your personality, right? It's about psychology. That is how you think. It tests your personal interview, what you speak, how you portray yourself, how you pitch up yourself, right? And it also talks about how you act. That is GTO, Group Testing Officer, right? And holistically, how you think, how you speak, and what you do, how you act. All those things has to be in sync to get recommended in SSB interview, right? And to become that sort of individual, you need to work on yourself, right? Indian Defence Forces need thousands of officers are required in Indian Defence Forces. And if you want to be part of that, start working on it right now, right? We need true leaders. If you want to become a leader, right, so you have to work on yourself, right? So Monsoon, what will be your guiding tips for the youngsters who want to follow your footsteps?
The best message I could give is just the mindset and be confident. I believe mindset is the major and foremost factor which decides your future in SSB interview. For example, I would like to state that a person with 100 of qualification but a pessimistic approach towards situation is not desired. But a person with very few qualifications and an optimistic approach towards the surroundings environment is desired, because he is the one who can cope up with any situation. And this is the kind of person and officer, this is the kind of quality which is desired in an officer. So the right mindset and right attitude towards your situation and an optimistic approach is the fundamental.
Right. Great. Right. Thank you, Monsoon. Right. And wish you all the best for the future ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.